Welcome all of you humans. The question of the day is about geometry, the shapes in a human being, and how can we access them for better health. Take a look at this Vitruvian man, and you can see the balance of geometry. Triangles we see one pointed upward, we see one pointed downward, another pointed downward. We see so many shapes within this Vitruvian man. We see a sphere. There are squares and triangles. And I want to invite you to learn about ways that you can use geometry in your meditation to get that acupuncture chi flowing. That, in a nutshell, is what everything really is all about for better health. Acupuncture, chi, energy, and blood flow. And when we're talking chi energy, we're talking about the light switch. We're talking about the electric lights that turn on, and when they're not on, nobody's home, right? So we need the electrical light switch. We do have a bioelectric current. It flows within our body with our blood. And when the blood stops and the chi energy stops, you have pain, you have stagnated areas of tension, disease, illness, and ultimately death. So how can we use it for better health? Let's find out, shall we? So, when we are stressed out and we have a lot of tension, look at this guy. He looks so angry, and you know that he has tension in his head, his neck, his eyes, his ears, his back, everywhere. And we all, or a lot of us, feel this way just like him once in a while, right? And we hold tension in our body. And sometimes we aren't even angry like this guy, but we are just holding a posture of tension, like could be in our elbow or shoulders. And how can we harmonize our body, releasing that tension with our thoughts, emotions, and feelings? Like how can they, and our actions, like how can they all meld and be congruent? So we need to keep the chi energy flowing, blood circulation flowing. In a nutshell, I call it the Acu-Chi flow. I do a meditation that you can learn called Aromatune at livingwelldrmichelle.com. Also, practitioners, it's a great thing to incorporate into your practice. So it is a meditation that is active. You are a participant in the meditation, so it involves sound, vibration. So it's hearing, feeling, and imagining and touching your body of the acupressure points all at once. It's a little mix of so many things that I have learned over the 23 plus years of being a doctor of acupuncture. So it is classical 5-element acupuncture, esoteric acupuncture, chakra acupuncture, aromatherapy, and then there's just, physical acupuncture that works by knowing, the flow of energy in the motor points, the electrical connection in the belly of the muscles, that sometimes the physical part needs to be released. It is knowing which acupuncture points connected together will turn on or turn off, like parasympathetic and sympathetic parts of our nervous system. So it isn't just woo-woo kind of medicine. It really, there's a lot of science behind it, but I want to explain why, acupressure points. This thing isn't turning. There it is automatically here. So, if we want to learn a little bit about why this works and why I love Aromatune, Acu-Chi flow, because as I mentioned, we have a bioelectric current, and we can access this via our own skin. There is an anatomy in our skin. And take a look here, if you will, at if I had a pointer, this would be great. So if you look here in the dermis of our skin, you can see vein, you can see artery, you can see the nerve here, and they're kind of like flowing somewhat very closely, kind of intertwined together. And then you can see how this vein and this artery come up like branching, right? and up to the skin, and there's a little indentation. It's kind of shown here. Well, acupuncture points are holes that are just areas that are more abundant in these little nodes, these neurovascular nodes that I would call this here. A neurovascular node that is more electrically conductive. So they are located at these specific acupuncture points, but of course, anywhere in your skin is going to have this. It's just that the specific sites have shown to be higher in conductivity and higher in these veins and nerves and arteries, these little bundles. And so if you were to think about your skin, let's say if this is an acupuncture point here, and you can see I'm pressing in here, that if you're going to slide a little acupuncture needle in there, it's going to go like into a hole, and hopefully missing, just sliding kind of next to all of these structures, but then it irritates those structures. It kind of deforms them, shall you say, but also it creates an injury into our skin. And then that injury causes a whole cascade of reactions in our skin. And I didn't really want to get into all that, but I digress. I'm going on and on here. But that's how it works, like with acupuncture. So it stimulates a healing response. But you at home, you can access this by acupressure, because our skin has lots of other components besides what I just mentioned. I mean, we've got detectors, you could say, like pressure detectors, pain detectors, hot and cold, temperature, vibratory detectors that detect, air and vibration blowing along the skin, and sound. So that's why sound can be detected on our skin, not just our hearing and our ears. So sound vibrational therapy is different than just music therapy, because it's more about not just hearing, but feeling and getting that vibration. And it isn't like musical notes per se, but more of a specific frequencies. So we can have chemicals like essential oils that you can place on your skin. Tuning fork, like this particular guy here, striking it and placing it on your skin. Electrical stimulation, acupressure, massage. I mean, there's so many ways of accessing our acupressure points. The number one way, of course, is, you can see there's a little packet of needles here, acupuncture needles. And then guess what? There's the mind, because once you can find the spots, once you locate them and feel them, now your mind's eye can go right to that point. Like once you know where this large intestine 11 is on your body, you can always think of it. And then when we are connecting different points, creating these different geometries like triangles, squares, etc., you can follow it even with your mind's eye. So it's like putting everything all together. And it isn't as complicated as it sounds, because you follow along with me as I do it. Get this thing to switch. So I just wanted to show there's an image of my elbow there with a tuning fork on my large intestine number 11, which is called pool at the bend. And then our mind and spirit is really all infused throughout our body, right? We really don't have a spirit that's living and out here. I mean, it is in our physical body as well. Our mind is connected. We believe that our organ systems have a little spirit of their own too, responsible for different like emotions, like anger and sadness, joy, that kind of thing. So the mind is stimulated as well, and it's just infused. It's not separate. So, and then using that visualization, the imagination is what I call mind's eye. So I might often say, connect large intestine 11 with stomach 36 and keep, the mind's eye focused on these 2 points for a sympathetic response. So this is an example of how we can keep this acu-chi flowing, like in action, by touching, finding, feeling, imagining, and connecting these points. For an example, the brow chakra and the crown. And I can imagine I'm touching, and I can place some essential oil here and in the back at the occipital, the little bump there in the back of your head. And then I can create this imagination of creating this triangle, and it goes through from the front to the back, right? And creates this whole three-dimensional space. This could be one particular lesson that we could do together. So for an example, if we were to use an essential oil, you could place the oil on each one of the spots, and then taking your tuning fork, you could strike it, touch the spot, bring it to the next one, bring it to the next one in the back, and then rest, either just keeping it going and listening to music, or listening to more tuning forks, or breathing, chanting, saying a mantra, anything that vibrates the chest, your own voice, and then you are keeping that particular image and geometry that we created as far as the aroma tune goes. So that is for you to use at home in between, like acupuncture. It's just a great homework assignment, one that feels good. It can take you anywhere from 15 to 20 to maybe 30 minutes. So I invite you to love, like, share this video, share this page, subscribe, so that more people can find out about this if they're like you and they love meditation, essential oils, and sound healing, vibration, and they want to tap into their own consciousness level and raise their awareness, not only just physically, but mentally, spiritually, and to just feel better and look better too. So once again, that's livingwelldrmichelle.com.